just let the muscles of your back relax. It's so nice to be just completely supported like this. And so the idea that we're working with today, especially focusing on shoulders and neck, that'll be kind of our big focus. And the idea is thinking of this practice as kind of like, you know how when you give a good hug and it just feels so supportive, so awesome. So literally we're stretching those shoulder muscles, which are the muscles of giving hugs. So imagine it's like this class, by stretching our shoulders out, it's like we're giving those supportive shoulders a big hug. We're being supported in the process, and we can turn around and reach out to others in kind of metaphorical hugs. So we're kind of being supported today, and we can turn around and support others. Just kind of that beautiful cycle that happens when we feel good, we can turn around and help others feel good also. And so that's just the very simple theme that will rest in the back of our minds today as we get started. So I always like to begin with some nice easy stretches to get into our body a little bit more. So what we're going to do is start off, the arms stretch all the way to the back wall. And then let's begin to let the shoulders swivel all the way to the right. And then shoulders all the way to the left. It's a really good chance to start easing into those shoulder joints. It's nice and easy, left and right. Notice if there's any tight spots. You can always pause if it feels helpful. Good. Maybe one or two more to each side. And then as we're back through the center, we're going to take some leg stretches. So right knee comes into the chest. Just give that right foot a couple of ankle rolls for a moment. Giving a chance to loosen up any tightness. Good. And then try to slide your right hand to reach that right foot. Once you've got a grip of that foot, start to bring the foot above our chest. And what we're going to do is kind of play back and forth between kind of pulling the foot down, knee gets closer, so it's like a little hip opener, and then trying to straighten the leg up, even pushing the ball of the foot into the hand to pull the shoulder forward. So it's kind of like pulsing between a little bit of bend, pulling down, and then pushing up, even getting that shoulder to kind of get pulled forward out of its socket. Just a nice, easy way to get into that shoulder. Good. So maybe like one or two more of those, just easing into some of these big muscle groups. Whenever you feel satisfied with this, we'll take this right foot. You'll need to hook it all the way to the back left edge, so put this kind of at the very end by our head. So hook that foot all the way. Once it's there, the knee is bent. Just kind of hook your arm around the shin and pull the shin in. It's like a pigeon pose when we're laying on our back. So a nice little right hip opener. Just enjoy this a couple of breaths. Another good inhale. Exhale, start to free out the right leg. Maybe give it a little stretch up to the sky. And eventually drop it down. Second side, left knee comes in. Plug it into the chest. Right hand tries to grab that, or sorry, left hand tries to grab that left foot. And then we start to bring the foot above our torso, do those little pulses between pulling down and then straightening up, even kind of pushing ball of foot into the hand to lift that shoulder up. Good, just easy, pull down and up. Down and up. And maybe one more time to each. Beautiful. Hook this heel all the way over for that hip opener. Slide the shin in. Kind of up to you to control it to get that perfect degree of stretch. So sometimes I'll hook that arm around the shin to get it closer. Other days it's like, nope, I'm good already. So just enjoy it if that's nice. Inhale. Exhale. And start to free out the leg, maybe a little tug up to the sky before we lower it down. Let's grab our hands and we're sitting up. Our legs can still stay nice and straight out in front of us. So once we're sitting up, let's stretch both of our arms toward our toes. Just give our spine a chance to round forward. Let even the head be heavy, kind of dropping that chin to chest. So now the right hand is going to go onto the left foot or ankle, whatever you can reach. Left arm reaches up to sky, and then continue to rotate it to point to that back wall. Good, moving through the shoulder, return it all the way back. And take a few more rounds just like that. Up, and rotate through that shoulder, going all the way to stretch back. And return. Another good cycle, up and back. This time stay just a couple of extra breaths. And return. Beautiful. Switch it out. So left hand is grabbing the right foot or ankle area, and then right arm stretches up. Rotate through that shoulder, bring it all the way back. And return. Couple more rounds. This next time we're back, stay a few extra breaths. And return. Give your spine another breath or two just to be releasing forward here. Beautiful. As we rise up, kick the feet off the front end. We're going to take our first little inversion here. Inversions are one of people's favorite things to do in aerial. It lets the spine just drop long. So it feels really good on the vertebrae. So take your elbows behind, and then your thumbs are hooking on the back end of the fabric. Bring the fabric to the back side of your pant line. So it's a little bit like right by the hips, basically. And then you lean back to lock it in place of that hip line. So once you're halfway back, put it back on. That'll keep you safe. Last step, legs wide as you tilt back. And just wrap your ankles. Once ankles are wrapped, you're safe. You can even let go, letting your arms dangle. Oftentimes I'll spread my arms out like an X position, just to make it so my shoulders can't be holding me up at all. It's just gravity releasing. Good. If it's not resting on the perfect spot on your back, you can always come up and readjust it. So know that you have that liberty. There's kind of one spot that feels good. If it's too high or too low of that, usually it's like it's not quite right. So just feel free to readjust. And know, for those that are newer, inversions, I give you plenty of time to just relax because there's a lot of people that come here just for this. But that being said, it does sometimes take some time to build up to being able to do inversions for an extended period. So if you know that it's time to come out, All you have to do is just easy grab that fabric and kind of rise up with your core. But I'm gonna give you some time here. Just relax as long as it's still good. You can even come in and out as needed. If you've got that grip, just kind of unwind the feet and you'll just easy up. And since our last person didn't seem to arrive, I'm gonna go ahead and lock our door. So just keep on enjoying this and I'll be right back. So those that came up, no pressure, you're doing awesome. We always take a little bit of recovery time after inversions. And so this is called a floating child pose, just hooking the elbows and leaning forward. So you're welcome to stay here. If you wanted to get another chance to be upside down for a little while, you can always come out and in. We're gonna give it just a little bit longer for those that are still upside down. Just give them just a little bit more. And if you're up, you can always start to move into some neck tightness, kind of letting that head go toward the right shoulder. And toward the left shoulder, just kind of easing some of the tightness. And if you're still upside down, start to make your way up. It's nice and easy. We'll give it a few more breaths of recovery. Sometimes this is just nice for that low back to get to lean forward like this. Almost like that hug for our whole body. This is helping to support our system. Give it another good inhale. Good, exhale. And sitting back up. We're gonna get deeper inside for a couple of fun stretches. So I want you to face toward the center of the room. So bunch up the fabric that'll face you toward me. Once you've got it bunched up, lock your arms straight. That'll kind of start to lift up your hip. So that hip that just got lifted, that's the leg that's gonna need to swing up and over. Yep, out, low end. Awesome. Once you're there, slide both of your feet into that spot just right under where your thigh is. And then let both of your legs just extend out nice and long. Beautiful. Hands can help the legs be spread nice and wide. Just grip onto the outer fabric and press out. Try to engage the core to be sitting up nice and tall. Good. So a good stretch for our shoulder. Right hand slides down the right leg. Left hand reaches up to the sky and then over. Find the angle that's perfect for your shoulder today. Sometimes it's rounded down just a little bit. Sometimes it's really stacked and open. It just depends on your muscles, whatever feels tight for you. Okay, sitting back up, switch sides for the shoulders. So left hand down left leg, right arm up and over. Beautiful. Sitting back up. From here, the leg that's closer toward the mirror, bend that knee so the heel comes into the center. And then your arms are going to go through the end of the fabric to face you toward the mirror. So just let yourself lean forward over that hip for a moment. You can play with your straight leg. I oftentimes will push that heel down and then kind of rotate the leg back a little bit, rotate it forward. Just kind of have some freedom in that hip. Beautiful. And from here, we're moving into pigeon pose. So the easiest way to move into it is to grab one hand on either side. So you'll find the two ends that are on the front over here. So yep, one will be right by the toes and then trace up. The other one's just easy grab. Once you have those grips, you'll lift your body weight up enough that your back leg can swivel all the way around its hip socket. The leg will end up behind you. The knee can be a little bit bent, that's fine. If you stay inside like this is more of a king pigeon. It's a good back bend. Some people love that. If you let the shoulder, that arm that's right above the toes, let that one drop down, so it'd be more of a sleeping pigeon. So just relax as your weight just gets to be supported. All sort of good stuff. Oftentimes I'll keep the shoulder that's above the knee, I'll keep that one in like a little seatbelt. If you like to drop both out, that's fine, but if it feels more secure to keep that shoulder in, that's also good. Give it about 3 more breaths, just ease into it. Deep, slow breaths into the belly. And then we're gonna come to kneel on the back knee. So you're gonna walk your hands back in, shift your hips up, and then front leg gets to go straight out in front. So from here, this is a nice half split area. So you can slide your hands down, or sometimes I'll slide my hands up and take almost like a split, like a half split, it's just thinking forward. Your back toes popped out, slide it in for this next shape. And then you're gonna kind of shimmy your hips back so that you can sit on your back foot. So sometimes it gets kind of stuck on the fabric, just shimmy it past that point and you're sitting on your foot. Good. Hands can drive forward to stretch over that front straight leg again. And just let those shoulders rotate forward in their socket, giving that good little shoulder opener. Beautiful. Sitting up. We're literally gonna set up a nice hug for our legs and for our body. So this leg that's out in front of you, bend the knee to the side, like a cow face pose, you're stacking the knees on top. And so from that knee stack, you're circling your arms all the way through around the fabric, clasp your wrists behind. Once you've got that clasp, you're safe to lean forward. Just kind of enjoy that little hip opener. Beautiful inhale. Exhale, kind of simultaneously release the hands and come on back in. Grip on so that you can slide your way back into pigeon. Just a good breath or two. And then you'll rock your weight onto your front hip. Swivel both legs open. We're back at that wide figure V seated pose. Beautiful. We'll start to ease toward the second side. So we're going to be ending up facing the back wall. The leg that's toward the back wall, bend that knee, sending the heel toward the center. And then you're diving your shoulders through to face that back wall. This is the one where we just get to lean forward for a moment. Maybe the straight leg, we push the heel down, or maybe we swivel that straight leg in and out just a little bit, finding some ease into that socket. Good, preparing for pigeon pose. We can come back inside. You'll need to grab onto each end so that you can lift your weight up. Once you've lifted it, swivel your back leg all the way around. And then you can stay in the king pigeon. Maybe one shoulder drops out, maybe both shoulders. Kind of up to you if you're taking sleeping pigeon. Two or three good deep belly breaths. And then we'll start to rise up, gripping on so that we can get the back knee underneath our body. You're kneeling. Once we're kneeling on the back knee, front leg can straighten out in front of us. So if you slide the hands down and lean forward, that's like the half splits. Or if you slide your hands up and stretch your legs away from one another, that gets us closer to full splits. Whichever variation feels really helpful. And weight over the back knee if you went forward at all. This one's the one where your hips, if they feel like they're stuck, you need to kind of shimmy them past that stuck point so you can sit on your back foot. Once you're sitting down, slide your hands forward to front foot. Another chance to lean forward. A little gift for our body. Good, and then we've got that hug, that cow face pose. So the leg that's out in front of you, we need to bend the knee, stack one knee on top of the other. Arms dive through the front to give you a big hug, clasp your wrists for safety, and then just let yourself lean forward. You sitting on your back foot? It's what? It's okay, we'll get you on in just a moment. Okay, so unwind, rise up, and we're gonna go through pigeon pose. So sink all the way forward, rock your weight onto the front hip, and then swivel the legs open. So we're back to that wide figure V. This is kind of that good safety spot. If you get stuck, just kind of come back here. Well, this is where we end up. Good, so another breath here. Sometimes I'll even let the bottom of my feet touch together. It's almost like its own special kind of hug here. So just feel that beautiful support. Sometimes I like to rest my forehead forward or the back of the head backward. Just take a little break, a couple of beautiful breaths. Trying to imagine you could ease shoulder tension just by letting the shoulders drop down. If there's any fiber in the muscles at all that are trying to hike up, let it rotate and drop down. Just feel this good support, another 3 or 4 breaths. Good. We're going to start easing our way back out of the straddle. So first, let each foot slip out. We're back to the knees. From here, bunching up the fabric, extend your arms out, and then the leg that's toward the back wall, swing it forward so you're facing toward mirror. Usually hips are off center a little bit, so I'll kind of do a little shimmy left, right until we're facing forward again. And from here, we're gonna go toward our vampire pose. This one's awesome for our shoulder focus because our whole body weight just gets to rest on the shoulders. So it's like a little massage. So if you know it, go ahead and go right on into it. For those that are new to vampire, go ahead and take it with me step by step. Some people are more visual, so if you want to watch first and then go into it again, that's fine. But the idea is, in order to get your body weight to be like just straight supported, basically a shoulder stand, think of that. In order to get the fabric to support you, you need a complete safe wrap of the fabric right over the shoulders. It's like enough to cover like a cap sleeve, but not a ton excess. So any excess, I'm using my elbows to pull it down into my waist. So we've got just enough to cover one good thin layer all the way over the shoulders. And so when you've got that, lean back. All the excess that we brought to our waist, we need to take down to our feet. So step your feet in. And then at the same time that you straighten the legs out, you also lift the hips up. So that shifted the excess down. If you still have excess at your waist, you'll step the feet in again, extend out. Good. Okay, so our head is off the end. There's just enough to do a complete safety for our shoulders. So from here, hands reach up, grab. You're bunching up a little bit of the end of the fabric. And then you can free your feet out of the fabric. Your feet need to come up where your hands are gripping up that fabric. So the little notch right after your heel ends, push that into the gathered up fabric. Once you're pushing out, you can rise up. Good, so push out to rise up a little bit further, bring it right above where your hands are. A little bit further, a little bit further. Yep, just like that, and then push out to rise up. So like it gives us something to work with our core. Good, you look awesome. See if your core can lift up more. Good. And then if you go kind of right up to that knot, you'll be able to straighten your body all the way up and down. And so Hannah, your shoulders are like, one of them is almost about to pop out, so let's cover it a little bit more. Good. And then go ahead and do the same thing, go back into it. You got it. We want to completely cover it. We don't want to have a ton of excess because the excess would push into the neck. But it's like just enough to make sure our shoulders are totally in when we come up. Good. You're there, yeah. I can kind of see it in people, like when your body gets stacked, it's like, oh, this is the pose. So, just like before, this is an inversion, meaning your body is the one to tell you when it's time to come out. You're welcome to just stay for a bit longer though, no rush. rush if you're still enjoying it. If you're starting to head out, feel free to come back into a Shavasana so your legs can come in, your head can come in. And this will be your little recovery pose. If you're still up, just enjoy it a little bit longer until you're ready to come down. Good, so head in, legs in. They can be out, it's fine. It's whatever's working. And what we're doing here is taking enough recovery time that it's like, okay, my blood pressure is kind of back to normal. I have enough circulation in my head that I know I'm safe. When you start to feel pretty good, you'll sit back up. You'll let me know that you're ready to move on, but as long as you need the recovery time, just take it. Sometimes it takes a good minute or so. So no rush. It takes a little while when we come out of inversions. Okay, so you're starting to sit up. If you still need a little bit more time, that's fine. Just stay a little bit longer. That'll help me know where you're at. But if you feel like, okay, I think I'm good, I'm ready to move on, we're gonna come out. So bunch up the fabric and then lift the hips right up and out. Let's take the fabric around in front of us. And let's give our shoulders some time. So what we're gonna do is start off by gripping about as wide as shoulders, bending at the waist, taking a nice stretch forward. And then from here, you're going to let your shoulders start to go right and start to go left. You get to choose how far you go. You could go all the way to one door and then all the way to the other door. Sometimes I'll even bend the elbow that's facing back when I'm facing a door. Bend that one elbow down to help extend, and then I'll switch it out. Just kind of take the time to ease into those shoulders, whatever distance, whatever amount feels really helpful. Sometimes just a small little wiggle also is good. Beautiful. So maybe once more to each side. And then we'll start to rise up. Awesome. Let's take our right heel inside. We'll take a little twist first. So yeah, take your time, you're no rush. We'll take a little twist first. So your left hand grabs the right side, or left hand pushes along the outside of both. That one's a harder balance. And then right arm just opens up, a little twist for the spine. I love to get my leg past midline in front of me to get into my IT band while I'm opening up the spine. But if that hurts our balance, go for balance first. Beautiful. Return forward, one hand on each side. Two choices, you can either slide down, that'll get into our hamstring, or slide up to take splits. Feel how supported the joints are. Good. Weight comes back over our standing leg. Grip both hands onto the left strand. Turn the left toes out to the left. And then this is like a triangle pose. Our right hand is gonna slide down that strand, left hand slides up. So this will open up our chest. Good. Sometimes people will also take it towards side splits here. You don't have to. Know that you have the control though. Just squeezing in our thighs together will bring you back. So you get to control how far you go. Beautiful. Weight comes over standing leg, slip it down to thigh. We're still facing our toes to the side. Set up your arms like a warrior two, so it's your tricep that's pushing into the fabric. That'll give you some control. And then from here, you start to sink your weight forward, right into that good hip opener. Like this would be our standing warrior two if we could sink and control with strength going this deep. So one more good breath in and out. And then start to grip one hand on each side. Rotate onto, like face your hips forward basically, taking a nice warrior one, lunge forward. Beautiful. And then grip on nice and tight, lift up your back knee, and then set that back knee on the ground. Good, so we're going for a half camel. Left hand grips over to right side. Right hand goes toward that back heel. If you need like 2 extra inches, tuck the toes and that'll give you that little bit extra. Good, so nice twist for our spine. I know sometimes it's hard. Good. Okay, when right hand comes up, it goes all the way to left strand. And then left hand goes to the open version of camel. Good. Think of hips still pushing forward. That'll allow us to get right into that stance. Good, inhale. And exhale, one hand grabs onto each side. We're going to lower onto our back. So the knee that's underneath you, step your foot out in front instead. And then just slowly lower yourself down, slip the fabric to the heel. I turn the toes out to lock it into place. And then we're gonna take a little strengthening variation. So the leg is out in the fabric, our arms are right on the floor by our hips. So then this left leg goes up to the sky and then lift the hips directly up. Hips down, leg down. Let's go another 4 of those. Leg, hips, hips, leg. Here's 3, up and up, down and down. 2, and 1. Good. Now leave the hips on the ground, lift the leg back up. We're trying to grab onto the calf or the thigh. Just give it a couple of breaths with a nice little hamstring stretch. Then we'll take a couple of breaths, taking the leg into a little twist. You can keep the leg straight or you can bend it. It's whatever feels good for the leg or the hip or the spine. Just easing it into a good angle. Beautiful. Unwind. Take your foot out of the fabric. We're gonna do a little crunch to grab. Set the feet down. And we're gonna choose how many pull-ups we can do until we're ready to stand up. So maybe it's like 5 or 6. When you're just a little bit of arm strengthening, and then when you're ready to stand, just walk back to stand. I know it's hard, it's good, no pressure. Awesome. Take that to the second side. So we start off with left leg in. The twist first, right hand is either gripping on left strand or pushing, and the other arm starts to open. Beautiful. Return. This is either sliding down or sliding up splits. Okay. When weight comes back, we turn our toes to the long right edge. We're gripping onto just that right side, sliding left hand down, right hand up. So switch your arms, there you go. Keep the chest nice and open. You can choose if you're gonna go a little bit deeper in your splits. You don't have to. That inner thigh really is what we're trying to get into for a moment. Like we're giving a big hug, a big amount of support to that. Good. Coming back, slip it down to thigh. Keeping the arms rotated open, push your tricep into the fabric. That'll be what keeps us with some balance. And then we can start sinking our weight forward into warrior two. Good hip opening. Good. Hands can grab on. Maybe come back a little bit to rotate your hips forward, sinking into warrior one, face forward. A nice tight grip to lift up the back knee. Gently set that knee down. Maybe you know to tuck the toes already, so up to you. And first we go for the twisted version. So right hand over to left stretch side. I like to keep the arm high so that way it's my bones supporting me rather than my muscles if I'm gripping lower. So gripping high and then left hand to that heel. Nice little twist for the spine. If you can't go to heel, no pressure, you can go to low back just to kind of give yourself something to work with. Beautiful. Switching sides. We've got left hand going to right strand, and then rotate open. Nice half count. Beautiful. Inhale. And exhale, we're gripping up high. The kneeling foot comes out in front. Slowly lower down to the heel, turn the toes out. And then our right leg is on the floor, nice and long. Hands on the floor by the hips. And then right leg up, hips up, hips down, leg down. Let's repeat that one 4. Let the breath flow for us. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Once we're there, right leg goes up for just a couple of breaths with a little leg stretch. Maybe the leg stays straight, or maybe it bends as we head to the twist. And unwind. Good, when both of our feet are out, do a little crunch to reach up and grab the fabric. Once again, a little bit of arm strengthening. You choose how many pull-ups is good until you're ready to be all the way extended. Keep the breath flowing, that's the biggest help. Awesome, good work. We're gonna take a straddle back inversion. This is super similar to what we did first thing when the legs had to just go wide and then wrap around. Same thing, only we're not sitting inside. So if you know it, go ahead and go on into it. The idea is take your thumbs to keep the fabric right by your sacrum. That's gonna be that key spot that feels good. If it's higher, it's kind of hard to get into it. If it's lower, it's not quite safe enough. So right across that sacrum, that flat part of our hips. So the arms are active, keeping it there. And then just one foot steps back. That's enough to let us bend our knees and lean into the fabric. Keep it locked right where we placed it. If it slips up, start over again. So blocked right there. We need to get ourselves back under plumb line so we won't swing like crazy. So 2 or 3 little steps. And then it's kind of simultaneous. Hands up, knees wide. Wrap your ankles. You got it. Once you're there, once again, you're safe to let go. If you know that it ended up in the wrong spot, you can always come out and adjust. If you're coming out, you use your force so you don't just slam your body out. Good. I'll give you some time. Yeah, that's right. That's the breath I like to hear in inversions. Just leaning back to the fabric. So just give your head some time. Perfect. There you go. I'll just lean back. So we're all pretty much out. Just lean back. Sometimes I'll even support my head in my hands. And one of my favorite things to do here, if I bend one knee, I can kind of let my whole body rotate to get a really good side stretch to that side. And then when I straighten that leg out, I can switch, bend the other knee and just lean. Good. So what we're doing is giving our head just a little bit of time to make sure our blood pressure is back to a good spot. And from here, we'll take one last shoulder stretch. So walk back to take you out of it. And then come up to walk up at the end of your fabric. You're turning around to face it. Wave out your fabric just like when we started class. Yep, up on the other end, right up here. Good. So wave it out just like we're about to go in. But before we go in, we're gonna turn around and take our elbows in. This will give us a nice little chest opener to wrap up with. So once your elbows are in, what I usually do is kind of walk clear up to the top of my mat. This might be enough to just lean forward and open it. If you want to do a little lunge, you can step 1 foot forward and 1 foot back and just sink into it. So it's basically playing around until you get your shoulders and pecs to open up just right. Did you get it? I think you're grabbing opposite ends. Yeah. So find the front end, wave it out. And then just kind of slip your elbows right into it. Yeah. If you've been in it, take a little break for a moment. Give your head a couple of rolls. We'll give our lunge a chance to switch sides. Did you feel like you got it that time? Yeah, sometimes I'll even walk up to the top of my mat to get there. When you're ready for the second side, go ahead and take it again. Beautiful. And when you're ready to come out, you're still standing pretty far away from the fabric. You slip your grip so it's just the thumbs that are hooked. And then from there, you can take about that 5 grips or so. We have about half the fabric. Head back under plumb line. Rise up to tippy toes. Let's slide in. And we'll take the next few minutes just to be in Shavasana. So you can lay back. Your head can be in. Just giving the body a good chance to rest. We always take the Shavasana at the end so our body can integrate all the benefits of the practice we just had. So just let yourself enjoy it. Good deep breaths flowing in and out. Letting your whole body feel what it is right now to be supported. So here we start a slow journey out. This can begin just by taking a few good deep breaths. Maybe we begin to introduce little movements to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Sometimes it's nice to stretch the arms to the back wall, letting those shoulders take another chance to go right and left. Sometimes it's fun here as we're wrapping up to give ourselves a chance to do a little fetal position in the fabric. So you keep your body long, but you roll onto one of your side bodies. So one hip is stacked on top of the other hip. From that place, you can curl in like a tight little ball, and then you can arc your spine back. It's almost like the idea of cat-cow, giving that spine a chance to just wake back up. So maybe you take a good 2 or 3 of these on this side. And eventually flip so you can give your spine 2 or 3 to the other direction. No rush, but when the spine feels pretty good, we can start to bring ourselves back through the center and then come up to a seated place. And here we'll take just a moment to wrap up our class. So I usually like to bring hands in front of the heart. And we just think of our intention for a moment. Think of how the fabric has supported us like a hug. Think of how our shoulders have been opened up. So imagine as we go forward to the rest of this awesome day, imagine us trying to look for opportunities to metaphorically hug and support others, hoping to spread this awesome energy that we felt today. So with this idea to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale together now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.